Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program SuperDawn. I am Vera Osopo with you on today's edition of SuperDawn. It's a beautiful morning, and well, for me coming into work, the traffic was a bit light. I don't know how your experiences are right now, but if you have witnessed heavy traffic gridlock, well, you can also call in to tell me what you went through getting to your place of work or your business center. Well, this morning we're going to look at something that is happening in the National Assembly. And since Buhari took the oath of office May 29th, we've been experiencing loads of things from the legislative quarters. And loads of things happening in the country. We have security issues, we have economy issues, we have political disagreement, loads of issues happening, events upon event taking place in Nigeria. But today we just want to look at the National Assembly, taking a touch into the National Assembly to look at it and see what is happening with all of those crises, disagreements, and of course, you know, the latest in the National Assembly and also House of Representatives. So we're going to look at all of that today, and also we will look at the papers this morning. And I bet you that the phone lines, I pray, will work today so that you can be part of it. And I'm not going to be doing this alone today. I have with me, Blessed will be taking toll today with me on the show. But we'll go on a break. When we come back, Blessed and I will be taking the newspapers. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's a newspaper review segment, but we have Blessed here in the building, in the house.
Good morning, viewers. It's a beautiful time on SuperDawn this morning, and then we are starting the tabloid review this morning, and then we are starting with. It's good to be starting this morning. The tabloid, Vera has always been the one doing it, so I'm starting with the Vanguard this morning.
Yes, it's better you start.
Yeah, I'm starting with the Vanguard this morning, and there's so much questions to answer here, and so much to read on the Vanguard newspaper. I'm starting with the major headlines, which reads, questions as thugs overrun NAS security to steal maize. Questions as thugs overrun NAS securities to steal maize. I'm wondering why we have securities in charge of the National Assembly, and they will say our thugs gain access into the national security to steal the maize.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there according to what we were told. I wasn't there yesterday when the Querimadu was presiding. I wasn't there yesterday. But what happened was that Omar Gege entered, the senator came in, and while he was entering, according to what people said, those that witnessed it, according to witnesses, that they followed the talk, said they were with him. If the talk had said they were with him, I expected the security agencies, those in the National Assembly, to question, ask the man, are those people with you? Not just allowing them just go through and all of that. What if they are there to kill someone? Certainly. What if they were with armed? What if they are armed to kill someone? Will you just allow, say, because he's a senator and you saw people following him, said that you will have accosted him. Hey, Mr. Senator, have those people with you? But that didn't happen.
And just like the Vanguard said this morning, questions, a lot of questions are on our minds this morning. And another question I want to ask is, why should thugs accompany a distinguished senator to the National Assembly?
The question is why, but I must tell you that he was arrested for investigation. Okay. He was taken for investigation. And what he came up with, he said that it's not me. I don't know them. He's denying it, but we need to know more. We're going to know more about the matter as we continue with that particular story.
Right.
Yes. We're treating that today, so then let us go to another story.
Awesome. I know the securities are already undergoing their investigations, so we hope to get more details on that. Still on the Vanguard this morning, reps drop charge of election sequence bill as bill suffer setback in Senate. You can get that on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, Nigerians should raise VAT to increase revenue, and that's coming from the International Monetary Fund. Get that on page 19 of the Vanguard. And also persistent Oshodi Apapa gridlock. Stakeholders blame NPA PBE.
Okay, before you continue, just take the last one.
All right.
Before you take the last one, the one you said from the international bodies that they should raise VAT.
To increase revenue.
To increase revenue. Do you know what Nigerians are facing right now? They need to have known what we are going through before they say we should begin to raise VAT. They can advise that we should begin to look away from oil, so we can begin to face, because we're right now facing agriculture and other things.
Certainly.
We have the cocoa, we have the cotton, those days, the crops.
Economy.
Yes. Don't tell us to rate. Don't tell them to. What kind of advice is this? Are you a Nigerian? Do you know what Nigerians are facing right now? Please. I don't want to get angry, Blessed, this morning.
If IMF would like to bring down their headquarters there so that
they can feel it. They need to feel it. Yes.
This morning before we move over to the next paper. Why I accepted to serve like Kiyama. If you want to know more about all the stories, go get a copy.
Well, Kayam is now the new spokesperson for the campaign of the president. Yes, it's a new spokesperson. Okay, we move away from the Vanguard and we take some stories in the Punch this morning. And this says health workers strikes paralyzes hospital. We also have World Bank knocks Nigeria, others for rising debt. World Bank is saying, hey, your debt is too much. It's going up and up. And we also have here, U.S. urges Nigeria to change tactics against Boko Haram. The one making the rounds in all of the papers this morning says, shock, anger as thugs invade Senate, escaped with a mass. The National Assembly give IG, DSS, and DG 24 hours to recover the mess. And this writer says, Querimadu meets Osibajo as federal government orders investigation. We also have here Omar Gege denies accusation that he masterminded invasion. And finally, I think I need to take this one. Okay, let me get this one. APC, PDP, ACF, Atiku, others condemn evasion and theft. So we have this retired SARS boss shoots self dead in Ogun State. You need to get hold of the Punch newspaper to read more on that.
All right, Daily Trust this morning. The stories everywhere, almost in all papers this morning. Our 5 folks beat 250 NAS guards to steal the mask. And the writer says, IGP, DSS boss get 24 hours to recover mask. Omar Higgins squeezed. So you can get that on the Daily Trust this morning. Still on the Daily Trust, Kwankwaso, Wamako to face EFCC over fraud. And also on the Daily Trust this morning, why aircraft conveying Agahush remains crashed. IAB speaking there. And also OAU's self-scandal panel indicts Professor Akindele. If you want to get the full details of that particular story, the sex for Mark story, go get a copy of the Daily Trust this morning. You can find that on page 4. And still on the Daily Trust this morning, APC may hold convention in Lagos. Find that on page 13. And finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, National Assembly dump election sequence bill. All this and more on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Also, we also have some stories in the Nation newspaper, The Nation, this morning. And we'll take some of the story. It says, Senate reps dumped plan to override Buhari's veto. We have this, my twins are okay, says Otun Olubadon. We have this other one, fresh crisis over tenure extension in APC. And the writer says, Oyegun's NWC sends curious letters to NEC. We also have rising debt, risky to countries' financial stability, says IMF. So in the papers, we have inside the papers, Ekwerimadu briefs VP. Senate, it's affront of democracy, act of treason. A tale of parliamentary invasion analysis. We have Secondus, it is lawless. Ghanaian lawmakers witness mass drama, and ACF demands arrest, trial of perpetrators. And I'll take this one for Yayi. It says, my ordeal by Yayi. This from Omo Agege says, I did not remove the mayors, says Omo Agege. You can get hold of more stories on the Nation newspaper this morning, and all the papers are in there for you. Well, this is where we end this segment. That's the newspaper review segment. Up next, we want to look at the National Assembly, updates on what is happening in the National Assembly. We'll go on this break. When we come back, we have our guest. You want to know? Wait until we're back.
Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which has potent medicinal properties. Garlic is a plant in the allium onion family. It is closely related to onions, shallots, and leeks. It grows in many parts of the world and is a popular ingredient in cooking due to its strong smell and delicious taste. This compound is known as allicin and is also responsible for the distinct garlic smell. Allicin enters the body from the digestive tract and travels all over the body where it exerts its potent biological effect. Garlic is a plant in the onion family, grown for its cooking properties and health effect. Garlic supplementation is known to boost the function of the immune system. Studies show that a daily garlic supplement reduced the number of colds by 63% compared with placebo. Cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes are the world's biggest killers. High blood pressure or hypertension is one of the most important drivers of these diseases. Human studies have found garlic supplementations to have a significant impact on reducing blood pressure in people with high blood pressure. Effects on longevity are basically impossible to prove in humans, but given the beneficial effect on important risk factors like blood pressures, it makes sense that garlic could help you live longer. The fact that it can fight infectious disease is also an important factor because these are common causes of death, especially in elderly people with dysfunctional immune systems. Garlic has known beneficial effects on common causes of chronic diseases, so it makes perfect sense that it could help you live longer. Garlic was one of the earliest performance-enhancing substances. It was traditionally used in Asian cultures to reduce fatigue and enhance the work capacity of laborers. The last one is not the health benefit, but still important. It is the fact that it is very and easy to include garlic in a current diet. It complements most savory dishes, particularly soups and sauces. The strong taste of garlic also adds a punch to otherwise bland recipes. Garlic comes in several forms, from whole cloves and smooth pastes to powders and supplements like garlic extract and garlic oil. The minimum effective dose for therapeutic effect is 1 clove eaten with meals, 2 or 3 times a day. However, keep in mind that there are some downsides to garlic, such as bad breath. The active compound allicin only forms when garlic is crushed or cleaved when it is raw. If you cook it before crushing it, then it won't have the same health effects. The best way to consume garlic is raw or to crush it and cut it and leave it out for a while before you add it to your recipes. Garlic is going to provide you relief from that stubborn cold and flu. Yes, they absolutely love you and never want to leave. Taking 2 to 3 cloves of raw or cooked garlic a day, or sipping some garlic tea with a touch of honey or ginger to lift up the taste, is not only going to relieve a stuffed nose and cure the cold, but also build your immunity against these frequent visitors over the time. Garlic is one of the best kept medicinal treasures of the past era. It has been used as an antibiotic to treat bacterial, fungal and parasitic infections for the last 7,000 years. Studies suggest diluted garlic extract help children with tapeworm infections. A garlic-based mouthwash may not sound like fresh, minted bread, but a very small quantity of its extract is sufficient to ward off cavity-causing bacteria. The invigorating properties of garlic protecting the skin from the effect of free radicals and slows down the depletion of collagen, which leads to loss of elasticity and aging skin. Applied topically, garlic does wonders to skin infected with fungal infections and provides relief from skin ailments like eczema. It also has an effective remedy for fungal infections like athlete's foot and ringworms. All of us know about the wonders of onions for air, but its brother garlic is no less of a hero for your theming main? Well, that's surprise time. Rubbing crushed garlic extract on your scalp or massaging with garlic-infused oil is known to prevent and even reverse hair loss.
Welcome back. Well, we're following the political development with keen interest, especially looking at the National Assembly. And today we want to look at the National Assembly crisis. We're giving you update with what is happening. You know, yesterday we read in the papers where the reps also said that they might just go on a break to handle the security challenges. And lots of things coming up, and even when the presidency put up the chairman for the Independent Financial Crimes Commission, the National Assembly also went against it, saying they do not want him there. Lots of things. And yesterday, another one very interesting thing happened at the National Assembly, and that was a fallout from the election sequence allegation, that's Omagege issues. This morning, we want to really look at these laws and looking at the carriers of the laws, the formations of the laws, and looking at the people at the National Assembly. As against coming up, the 2019 is coming up. You expect to see loads of things, but this drama is becoming unbecoming in the House. This morning we have a guest in the studios. He's a legislator and is Honorable Rotimi Olowu. Good morning to you, Honorable.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And Happy New Year. It's quite a long time. We've had him on set here. It's been a while. Good to have you here this morning.
Pleasure is mine.
Okay, well, looking at the National Assembly, not just National Assembly, let's start with looking at our legislative arms of government. What is all of this drama emanating from the arms of government?
Basically, if you look at it critically, it borders on supremacy. At times, the executive might decide to go gaga, and the legislature will think probably because they represent people, they actually voted for them. If you look at the structure, apart from the president and the vice president that had joint ticket, ditto state where we have the governor and the deputy governor having joint tickets. The only House of Assembly and the reps and the senators that actually got elected, and they believe that they have the mandate of the people even above the executive, because the executive basically after the election of the president and the governor, as the case may be, they elected or they appointed their own commissioners and ministers, that ministers do not have the power to speak on behalf of the people, that it is basically the representative of the people in terms of the House of Assembly members at the state level and the National Assembly members, be it rep or senators, that can actually speak on behalf of the people. And they believe that anything that has to do with finances must have the concurrence of the people. It's been an old struggle for supremacy. But to me, whether it is the executive or legislature, in as much as we have at the back of our mind the interests of the populace that we represent, then there shouldn't be issue. Because we need to work harmoniously to deliver the dividend of democracy. But when you say that the executive is saying A and legislature is saying B, then
there's a challenge.
It's beyond the surface. There is more to it than meeting the
Okay, I want us to center on what just happened recently. I'm going to take you through the remarks made by Omagege talking about the amendment to the 2010 Electoral Act, which changes the sequence of election, and that was what brought about this. He said that act actually was targeted at the president, and that was why the Senate got angry and he was suspended. Do you think he was right about it?
To me, when you look at the law, they have that brought in INEC. INEC is the umpire, and INEC is supposed to determine the sequence of the election. What is the interest of the Senate at determining whether you put A before B or you put C before D? There's an umpire, and it's supposed to be an independent body. For Senate to have took it over themselves and talking about a bill that will bring in the sequence, I think it is ultra rare. To me, going by the law, at point of law, it should be the preoccupation of INEC. So if Amagege now came out, he has the freedom to say his mind, and I don't think that will warrant his suspension, because we have to be very careful here. Talking about suspension, you don't suspend people anyhow because they represent people. Omagege is a senator, he represents a central district. A suspension will mean that those people will not be represented for the period while the suspension lasts. And that means we are denying some people representation.
Now, with what is going on here, sir, can I ask, are we not playing politics with the lives of people here?
It's obviously yes, because even the suspension we are talking about, if Omagege appeared yesterday and there was an issue thereafter, I'd expected a situation where when you suspend somebody, you cannot just suspend without hearing from him. There must be room for fair hearing. Did anybody talk to him? Was he admonished? Was there a panel? That was okay. Going by the weight of what he said, these are the issues, and the man is allowed to express his feelings, and he has every right. It's not that because he's a member of an institution, he must always be in consonance with that institution. If the institution veered, the man has every right. It might be a minority opinion, but he has every right to comment.
Okay, but before you continue, I must let you know that there was a committee. I followed that story up, and that was set up to look into what he did. And the committee found him guilty for doing that. But the president, the Senate president, has to step in. Senator Saraki had to step in to say, this penalty you gave him is too much. So they dropped it to 90 days, looking at what happened. But I do not know if after the committee met, if he was summoned to say this is it for that suspension.
Obviously, to me, I think there's more to that than meeting the high. Was the suspension communicated to him? Number two, was he given room? If he is remorseful, if whatever must have said was said out of sheer honesty and the institution was speaking, oh, you are bringing down the institution, was he allowed to express himself and probably say sorry for what he has done? So it must come, you see, if you come for equity, you must come with clean hands. There are a lot of issues that are even worse than this. Then, and it was resolved at that level without really talking about suspension. Suspension should be the last resort. To me, who communicated same to him? Was he allowed to express himself? Was he allowed to even be able to make a remark as in, oh, sorry, I regret the action and is forgiven?
And so let me ask you this. Some members of the Senate also tagged him to be a pro-Buhari group. Now, I want to ask you now, Amagege is from the APC. Do you think that what he is doing now is against the upcoming election?
Sorry, I keep saying this, that I'm a legislator too. I have my candidate for governorship, and I'm at liberty to support anybody I so wish. Is the institution, the Senate, against Buhari? What they are doing there, does it have to do with appointing, supporting, going against Buhari? It's supposed to be an institution that supports the executive. That's mine. We have legislature, you have executive and judiciary. They must work harmoniously. If there are issues, gray areas, sit down and resolve it. But if I personally wrote him alone, I love somebody, I'm supporting somebody, anybody cannot be against me. I fight it to the last. If it's my choice and I believe in him, believe in what he has done, then as an institution I represent, is different from the man I support.
If he's doing the wrong thing, and
he has not done anything
no, what
wrong
I'm
by
saying,
supporting
what I'm saying is, if they perceive that what the president is doing is not correct, just like what happened with the EFCC's case, the acting chairman, they came up to say, hey, this man cannot be imposed.
There's a lot of ways you can control that.
No, but were they wrong after all?
We have the power of the purse. If the governor says this man I like, and you believe
the man is not credible enough.
It's not credible. On what premise are you saying the man is not? Even if at the end of the day, 2/3 of the House now say we don't want him. The Senate, the House of Assembly, has the power of the purse, and having power of the purse means that by the time they are appropriating fund, that particular agency of government will be denied such appropriation.
Okay.
And
now I want a sincere answer to this, not being biased, looking at what is happening with the executive and the legislature. Do you think there's a disconnect with what is happening, what is playing out now?
Obviously, when you look at the Christian,
and why do you think so?
I think bulk of the problem, I can say, come from the presidency. We have to be sincere to ourselves. You know, there must be a line of communication. There must be an avenue, just like in Lagos State now, we have executive legislative parliament, where the programs of government would have been discussed with the legislatures to let them have a buy-in. They must have the first power of insight because they represent people. They even go a long way to support, protect, and even eulogize the government because they are party to such decisions. But when you make decisions without the concurrence of the legislature, you are looking for trouble. Or what is not appropriated for in the law, you spend it, you are looking for trouble. When they invite you for budget session and the MDAs in front of the ministers, the DGs, they don't come, then you are looking for trouble. It's symbiotic. It is not that one is higher than the other. It is about relationship, and relation borders on. At times we make relation to be informal. I can pull a call to a commissioner, and a commissioner can pull a call. Oh, Honorable, what do you think about this, our decision? Oh, it's lofty, but look at this, look at this, look at this. They are giving an insight into it, and I must have a buy-in. It borders on, it's only what I know, I've critique, not criticize, critique, yes, that I can support. But when you are coming as a government, as a unit of government, maybe executive, and you don't keep the legislation in the loop, and they represent the people, then you are looking for trouble.
Do you have such things? No, go ahead.
Now let me quickly ask you this. Now, based on what she asked you, do you think the executive is carrying the legislative along?
That is the problem. They are not.
And there's no cordial relationship within both parties.
It's obviously, yes. If they have got a relationship, they will not be fighting, and they will not be saying Magu is presented about 2 times and they deny it. It borders on, you must have relationship. Relationship matters. Whatever we are doing today or tomorrow borders on the lives of the people. We are toying with the lives of Nigerians. That's the fact of the matter. What is in there is about tussle, supremacy, and there must be buying. I've said that earlier. If Bukola Saraki as the state president is having issue with Mr. President, they should resolve it at their level. They should not allow that to cascade down to the level that what Nigerians are supposed to benefit, they have not benefited. And I'd expected the government, the president to have even chastised his errand boys, especially those ones that are becoming untouchable. That if you have the toga of being called a minister, you must be submissive and you must submit yourself to the law. And it is a matter of law that when there is budget, there is a procedure for that. You must come in to defend your budget. There must be an insight. What have you spent the money we gave you last year for? What is outstanding? What are you going to spend this for? Even the one you spent last year, is in consonance with the spirit of that law called budget? Those are the issues.
Are you seeing untouchable people amongst this cabinet?
Obviously,
are you
yes.
saying it? Can we talk about it?
I don't want to mention names here because it's highly politicized, but like it's so obvious that there are some they are untouchable and they believe that even the National Assembly cannot hold them back. And those are the issues. And I expected the president to have told them, caution them, whenever the assembly called you, National Assembly called you, submit yourself to them.
Are you saying that the president is turning a blind eye to this strong, so to say, people?
Is
that obvious, what you're saying?
It's so obvious the president has not actually acted like the president. He actually probably is under spell, or some people are controlling him. Obviously, yes. Because a lot of issues, contending issues, critical issues that border on the lives of Nigeria, even including security. He would not come out to say anything, and that's I don't expect from President of Nigeria.
How can we see the legislative and the executive working together? Because these two arms of government are very pivotal to the moving this nation forward. And just the other day, a senator representing the APC party advised the president to sack the present security chiefs because they are not meeting up to their standard as to security in the country. How do you think these parties and this harm can come together and work together?
The first thing is that the presidency or the president will make revisions to the legislation. You appreciate that today we have about 99 senators and we have about 360 House of Reps members. We represent different people, different
tribes,
ethnic groups, in religion and stuff like that. It's so diversified that even their background and the environment obviously will dictate on how they see things. It is the presidency or the president supposed to make revisions to them. Call them to a dinner. Call them into a parley. Maybe it lasts 2-3 days. While you now just oppose issues, you'll be able to discuss issues dispassionately and come to appreciate that Nigeria is a nation that we must protect, and protecting that we must work harmoniously. But if they fail to do that, the legislatures has the power to frustrate the executive.
Okay, right now, let's go to what happened yesterday in the House, where the symbol of authority of the parliament was taken away by thugs. Now we're going to start from the entrance. We talked about the security personnel being put in the National Assembly. I was telling my colleague yesterday that, hey, they were there, but the talk said it was Omagege they followed into. Shouldn't be an interrogation section along the line, entering the chambers, entering and picking up the symbol of authority. What do you think happened there? And went away with it before the brothers caricature one.
And report also says that at the National Assembly there are over, if not more, there are over 500 security personnel attached there.
Yes. So what happened?
I've been there. I know security at National Assembly is not that porous. As you are coming in from that triangle, you first meet the first set of security guys that want to look into your mission and stuff like that. Even at that, if you are not a staff of the assembly or honorary member, you are not allowed to park inside the National Assembly. There's a car park outside, and it's quite a distance from there. The car park to the allocation by itself. So we keep asking questions. If some people will say on the guys that it was Omagege they followed, did they get into the chamber with a vehicle? Did they park at the entrance? We have sergeant at times and we have retinue of personnel that oversee the chambers apart from the external stop and check point. So my take is this: whatever they did yesterday was a mega drama. The leadership of National Assembly had knowledge about what transpired.
So would it be right to say? Would it be right to say it's a planned work?
Obviously, yes. Somebody symbol of authority, and you move with the mace to the car park, which is not less than 500 meters from the yellow chamber, and you were not accosted, you were not arrested, and they made away with that.
Politics is involved.
It's more than politics. It takes the leadership to answer that. Leadership of National Assembly to answer that.
Okay, so what should we be asking? Questions like, shouldn't there be a panel? Of course, they've started investigation from the gate of the National Assembly. Should we be asking questions? What happened to the security personnel there?
The security was compromised because some powerful people were involved in that mega drama. So the question would be that all those on duty should be arrested. They said they accosted Omagege and later on they released them. The man who is the chief security should be involved. The sergeant at arms, obviously, is a retired soldier or military personnel. He should be arrested as well. And all those on duty must be arrested and interrogated. But I would say this is beyond Omagege.
So what are you saying? If you say it's beyond
I'm not saying that the leadership of the National Assembly was involved.
the leadership of the National Assembly.
What's involved? It's not just a case that you can come to Lagos House of Assembly and you say you make a way with the mace. It's not easy. How will you get to the mace? Because before you enter the chamber, we have security personnel that oversee the chamber, but they will not be in the chamber. Then sitting opposite the mace is the sergeant at arms, and he has his subordinate there. What were they?
But in the picture we saw with all the videos that came up, the sergeant at arms was trying to even take it away from the mace, from these talks, and they overshadowed. They overshadowed. That's the picture. They overshadowed him, so he couldn't. He was helpless.
It was helpless because, like, you make an attempt now, but if you didn't make an attempt, then that's when you be asking questions. But obviously, it was overshadowed because it was a planned war.
Honorable, I'm worried here why we have so much drama at the National Assembly. What is really going on with our legislature?
To me, many people have reasons why they join politics. When we don't have background check and people that represent us, obviously you have problem. I'm saying this, it can be an inspiration and it can be a statement of fact that many do not know why they are there. Many don't know why they are there. They thought probably when we go there, it's for us to share the largesse and for us to live a big life and run away from our people. But it's a nation that it is law that actually determine how we fare over time. Anywhere in the world, even same societies like America, UK, you see that it is the quality of the law that is promulgated that determines the livelihood of the people. But if the law is not given a thorough thinking, research, you just pass any stupid law, then the reflection is what is happening to the people. My say is this, and my resolution is this, that many of them do not know why they're there. They thought probably they're just there to sit down, talk about one or two things, then share some money and go away.
Okay, I will tell you what happened 2 days ago where the House of Representatives said that the president is not handling the security matters in this country well. And what they might do is go on a break and maybe they will be the ones to begin to coordinate security. Do you think they were right about this?
The House of Rep actually, I think it's laughable because it's not within the purview of their functions. We have laws that actually dictate what we do and what we don't do. They don't have the expertise, they don't have the wherewithal to even embark on that. But I thought probably two resolutions of the House. Resolution has some persuasive function. They make the observations and through that they pass resolution. And resolution will now call on the respective important, the necessary arms agents of government saddled with the responsibility of securing lives and property to
look into it.
So if they don't do that, even there can be a time frame to that, the urgency will do it with immediate effect. And they get a committee of the House that oversee all these agents of government to swing into action. At the end of the day, if those things are not addressed or the necessary agents of government failed to do the needful, then the report will now get back to the Senate or House of Rep through their respective committees, and through that they can now start fighting that we have done this, we have made our resolutions, we have made our resolution known to the presidency, to the agents of government, and we are given a time frame, but they did not respond.
But do we really respond to resolutions? I remember the 2014 National Assembly, National Conference. We have over 600 resolutions and up to date. We're trying to find out.
That's National Conference.
That's what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. I know. It's that looking at how implementation, we put down policies, but when it comes to implementing those policies, we have a challenge in the country.
Who brought together the national, who brought together the convention? Obviously, the executive.
Yes.
And whatever is the outcome of that convention, it is the executive that's supposed to put it into use or actualize it. But when you talk about resolution of the House,
yes,
it's very, very tough.
It's tough, I know. But I'll hold you on there. Let me hold you on there. There's a caller here. Hello, good morning to you.
All right, good morning, Vera.
Ah, I know that voice. Good morning. Mary.
What I was there yesterday for the security extension, the senators themselves, they kind of keep out of their presence, no budget. They don't have How many of them? To block them, let's put authentically carry the thing outside. It's a shame.
Okay, thank you so much. He was talking about what happened yesterday. Nobody could even stop them. Are you saying those numbers of people we have in the house could not pursue those gods?
Plenary was ongoing at the point in time.
Then Nigeria cannot be secure. And that's what I'm saying, that when we talk with people's life, issues about of security is played down both by the presidency and the leadership of...
So how do we get to this level where we don't even care for our lives and property anymore in the country? Where do you think happened? What do you think happens there?
When the children of the poor have no food, they will eat the rich. For those that are saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property, don't appreciate the fact that the number of police they have or security personnel around their house will save them when the poor take over. Because obviously that's what will happen. Because the poor has nothing to lose. It is the rich that have a lot of things to lose and a lot of things in their cupboard to protect. So when the children of the poor have no food to eat, they will eat the rich. So whatever we are doing today, there is grievous implications, and we have to be very careful about it because it will get to all of us.
Looking into security issues
before we continue, we're going to allow you make that call, ask your question. There's another caller. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Go ahead. Good morning to you. Jimo, go ahead. I don't know if they are full of different dubious kind of people, but thank you for calling. I don't know if they are, but I know that we have also good people in the house. Yes, you wanted to ask your question.
Now still on security. Now, do you think it is right for the current chief of staff to be sacked?
That depends on the output, what he has done so far. You cannot just sack people. I don't believe in just sacking people. Let them critically analyze his achievement and his failures. If at the end of the day he's not measuring up, let the president take the decision. If a man is alleged to have committed a crime or is not measuring up, the next thing you do is that sit down, investigate it. Do critical analysis of the person, because you need to be fair to him as well. If after taking that and look at the poor state of our security, then if you have better people, let them take over. You see, sentiment, when it comes to security, we should not play on sentiment. We should play on the experience, the wherewithal, and the architecture on ground, because you can tell the man he's not measuring up. What about maybe he has made one or two demands that's supposed to be able to fortify our security apparatus, but if they're not coming to him, if they're not meeting his demands, then you say the man is useless. So we should look at it beyond just the surface. The man cannot just be sacked. Let them do critical appraisal of the man to see whether what he has done over time is plausible or appalling before you can take such a decision.
Okay, we'll go on this break because we want to know what you think should be the effect of all of this happening. If someone can go into the Aloe House and desecrate the house, that institution, what do you think will happen in the future if we allow this to pass? But we'll go on this break, and a quick one. When we come back, we still have Honorable Rotimi in the house. Let's go on a break.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. We have our guests in the studios. But Blessed, you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, Honorable, I'd like to ask you this. We talked about legislative resolution. Now, I want to ask you, what is the effect of parliamentary resolution to good governance in Nigeria?
It's so clear that for resolution to be made, it is predicated on a lot of things. Number one, matter of urgent public importance. Probably when we talk about the act of God, probably security compromise and stuff like that. You know, when you have a budget, the budget is tailored towards achieving certain goals. But the assembly is the representative of the people. Our number one function is representation. That means you represent your people. If, for example, in the motion, for example, there is an issue that borders on security, where people were actually suffered some damages, probably body injuries or property damages, and the member that represents that obviously will come on the floor under matter of urgent public importance to say, okay, as a so we had issues, and the issues resulted into this, and my people have suffered. I want the Commissioner of Police to well into that, to protect them the more, or some property was damaged. I want the Ministry of Works to ensure that those people are indemnified and their property they are rehabilitated. Obviously, it will impact positively on the lives of the people. For example, I represent Shomolu constituency, and that is the hub of printing in Africa. And if peradventure we don't have light, probably due to the fact that we don't have enough transformers, it is because of me to go on the floor and say, Shomolu, our business in Shomolu is printing. And we have a lot of printers that are just idle, they have nothing doing. And that's why we are having a lot of Okada drivers, because nothing to propel their machinery. Hence, I need 4 transformers. The resolution of the House was, okay, the necessary ministry, maybe Ministry of Local Government and Community Affairs, should see to providing transformers. And that, to a larger extent, has impacted positively on the lives of my people, because more power will be generated, transmitted and distributed, and that will enhance their business and will enhance their take home. So that obviously will help, and that is why resolution is it has persuasive element, because you just don't make resolution for the sake of it. It borders on what is happening to our people. Executive will not always be there. We represent our people, we stay with them. When there are issues, the issues must be tabled, and when it is tabled before the House, then there's resolutions that go to even the governor of the state. And the governor, because he lost people voted for him, he has no choice than to keep to the resolution.
Sorry, Honorable, I'm going to hold you on. There's a caller here. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning, my daughter. God bless you.
Thank you.
I'm a very good Nigerian, a pastor as well by profession.
I think you need to speak up.
I don't call Nigerian senators or honorable. I call them miserable. Because what happened yesterday was a shameful thing to the whole world. Therefore, to my own part, the only solution is to work to the demand of this nation, the Nigerians. If Nigeria is to be split in pieces, it shall do so. If not, as long as we continue, there shall be no peace in this nation. The man on the screen, the senator, it's only you. I'm calling a senator because you stand for your truth. Every other person, called senator or honorable, are miserable. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mode.
In the house. We barely can really catch up all of those things you said, but I know that there are honorables in the house and we cannot call them something else.
Yeah.
But looking at what you have said,
They are our senators. You all voted for them. You voted for money bags. What result are you expecting?
And that's leading to my next.
Garbage in, garbage out.
That's leading to my next question now.
You talked about the resolutions. I know that laws passed by the National Assembly are binding. It has a binding effect and not of the resolutions, because most of the times you see that the resolutions does not undergo the normal legislative process. How can we insist that these resolutions we go through this?
Resolution is advisory.
Yes,
it is left to the because if you have to make law, you make law. There are different things between resolution and law. Law must be binding because it has a process. And it takes 2/3 of the house to pass it into law. That's sacrosanct. But resolution is that what we see on a daily basis, because it's a daily occurrence, you can't nip it in the bud. What will happen tomorrow, you don't know. You don't have the power of insight. What will happen after tomorrow, you don't know. But when the issues as they are emanating, there is a need for a responsible assembly of people who represent his constituents, for them to come up and say, speak up. Because of the three functions of the assembly, we have representation as a function, lawmaking, and oversight function on the executive. The most important is representation, because you represent people. It is advisory, but then underneath that, it has element of force. Because if the legislature discover that we have passed many resolutions and that is not executed by the executive, we wait for the executive when they are coming for their budget. That's how it is, and that is why if you see a responsible and responsive executive, be it the president or the governor, they don't joke with the resolution of the house, because it is advisory, but it has some element of force.
Persuasive, yes.
Persuasive.
Honorable, you've mentioned representation many times here, and this leads to my next question now. Are the federal legislators really representing the people that voted them into power, or are they there to pursue their individual agenda?
I cannot say all of them. Some are really representing their people, and some, after voting for them, they will just go into the blues. You will not see them again. But it borders on how informed, how resolute are the electorates. Somebody who just come from somewhere, you don't know his background, you have not searched for his background, he is a money bag, and during the election, he'll be throwing money, bread, and stuff like that. And the next thing, you vote for the person. What do you expect from the person? He has invested, he must recoup his investment. But people that have been around, you see them around, when there are issues that borders on the constituency, they are always voiced to be reckoned with. But now it's not necessary that they have all it takes in terms of money. But they are not voted for. So I would say, by and large, the quality of representation at the National Assembly is just a reflection of the people that voted in.
So it's a reflection of the people.
Yeah, did they vote for them to go and represent them, or they voted for them to recoup their investment?
Okay.
Somebody invested about now 500 million because he want to be a senator, and when the man gets in there, you thought he'd be a stupid man to now be thinking about you. You not think about the money he invested, recoup that with interest before thinking about you. Even for those that are very stupid among them, they will not come back because they know that, oh, let me leave this, because they are gullible and they are stupid. 3 months, 1 year to election, you see them coming back, dangling carrots again, and the monkeys will be taking the bananas. Those are the issues. The quality of representation at that level now is a reflection of the people that actually voted for them. Did you vote for representation, or you vote for investment? Those are the issues.
Okay, when we started this discussion with what we have said so far and how far we've gone, you made me to realize that all of this is on the book, stays on the table of Mr. President himself. Do you think he understands what the executive needs to do? Does he understand what is happening here?
I'm very sorry to say that. If the president doesn't understand, then let him resign.
With what you have said, do you think he is getting what?
Why shouldn't he understand? He has a lot of advisors. He has political advisors. There's a liaison between the House and the presidency, and he has an advisor that advises him. Even his advisor, I've forgotten his name, a former senator, was a member of the National Assembly, and is the liaison between the National Assembly and the presidency. And if he's saying that he doesn't understand, then there's more to it.
And if you think he understood it, why do we have this caricature system going on right now?
Because the president is not really working towards our desire. I think many times it's shaken out. And that should mean the commander-in-chief of armed forces and the president of Nigeria. So it should be firm. If it's not firm, then you should have advisors that are supposed to be around him to instigate him, to make him to be alive to his responsibilities, because Nigeria can only get better if you have firm, hardworking, responsible, responsive, relation-seeking president. Not a seeking a president who just be in his own world. He doesn't want anybody to advise him, and he doesn't want to hear anything negative about himself. He must be receptive to criticism. He must be open to critical analysis. He must be alive to his responsibility. He must know and seek for relationship among all the components that make governance, be it judiciary, be it the executive, be it the legislature. He must look at what is the father of all. It's not a matter of not for anybody and for everybody. That is just mean that the man is just sitting on the fence. And sitting on the fence will not resolve Nigerian problem. I'm very sorry to say this.
Okay, we're rounding off this program now. Finally, from you, what outcome do you want to see with what happened in the house yesterday? What punishment do you want to see? What do you think will happen?
Large-scale investigation into what led to that, and to see how that will be nipped in the bud. One too many, one happened at the time, when the legislator was scaling the fence. We thought it was just a one-off thing. And this happening, the maze, the authority, the symbol of authority has been taken away. Then the next thing might even be worse than this. But by and large, it shows that we are not really serious about the issues of others on the lives of our people.
Okay, I said last question, but I must ask, because you are from Lagos State, tell us, do we have this kind of disconnect in Lagos State?
We cannot have such disconnect, because our essence of coming together, be it as legislature, executive, judiciary, is to make Lagos to move to the next level, to be the economic hub of Africa. And if you have the same vision and aspiration, why would there be disconnect? It's only when you have motive, ulterior motives, that you start having issues like this. If all of us are out, I will know that people that voted for us, we want to better their life, we want to scale up things in such a manner that Lagos will now be similar, akin to Dubai. Then what are we fighting for? If you are to save people, what there will be fight? But it is because of individual idiosyncrasies and ulterior motives. That's why we're having such issues.
Okay, I want to say thank you to Honorable Rotimi Olowo, a legislator, and also from the House of Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you for coming to this segment. Viewers, up next is SuperDawn Sports. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.